Michael, he tells me they're going to be afraid to buy advertising.
Well, as I said before, if the audience, I know something about advertisers, if the audience is there, the advertisers are there. But look at it in a different kind of way. I mean, really, literally from the media point of view, which is to say that it comes into this market, and it's coming into this market because it sees an audience here. Now, this market is in radical transition. It's something that Fox figured out, that there's a segment that the so-called mainstream media isn't speaking to. Fox found that segment. Now Al Jazeera is looking at this market and saying this country, this demographic is radically changing. There's a lot of people in the U.S. who are not American citizens, who come from some other place, whose needs just very plainly are not being served by, again, the mainstream media. Al Jazeera is also looking to, as far as I understand their plan, to expand beyond just the North American borders, that it's looking to be a media outlet that sees, that extends across the Americas. I mean, I think, frankly, from a media point of view, it's a strong and interesting business plan.
You believe ultimately, it sounds like you're in agreement, but Paul, it feels as though you think that it'll take them longer, that there'll be maybe a slower adjustment to it. What do you believe? Forget the novelty. If there was an Al Jazeera channel, every single person in America would watch it for 30 seconds to 30 minutes, depending on your time. There's not a human being who has a television
well, look at it.
Watch it.
Sure, right. But look at it exactly in media terms, and that usually is, you know, who are you watching? What are you watching? For instance, in the UK, Al Jazeera now has hired David Frost. As a matter of fact, I'm getting calls almost every day from people I know in London saying, guess who's talking to Al Jazeera? That's going to start here also. They're going to start hiring people. They're going to, on Al Jazeera, we will see familiar faces.
Well, look, Al Jazeera could put Michael Moore on the air, and I'm sure, you know, many people would watch it. I still think the question
Michael Moore's a bad example, though. Michael Moore's a bad example.
Yeah.
Is Al Jazeera going to put...
Well, they're not going to get Walter Cronkite.
Yeah,
so
are they going to put Dan Rather?
I don't think Dan Rather would go on Al Jazeera.
Well, I don't know. Dan needs a job.
Hang on, because we're all talking, but no one at home is getting any information. Paul, you go first, and then Michael, you can finish us off.
I think that we all agree that in the immediate future, Al Jazeera will make an impact because it's just simple human nature. If there were Adolf Hitler TV in World War II, it would have gotten a lot of viewers initially. The question is the viability of the station in the long run, and I think to do that, Al Jazeera will have to demonstrate that it's more than just a place where Osama bin Laden videos are played. I actually think it is more than that, and therefore I do think it will be successful. I think I disagree with Michael, though, with a rosy view that it'll be an immediate success.
But very quickly, Paul, because I want to get back to Michael, but very briefly, do you believe that it is even plausible, as Michael suggests, with great reportorial credibility, by the way, that known, legitimized Western American journalist, Dan Rather, and I'm using Dan for an example, not as a specific individual, that type of individual will be reflected out to the American populace as the host of your afternoon or your coffee and tea on Al Jazeera, and it's Wake Up New York. Do you think that that's possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Over the last 40 years, there have been many eminent broadcasters who are now no longer on the screen, and I think it's certainly possible that one or more of them might be willing to go on Al Jazeera.
Michael, you get the last word. Give us, who do you think, what known American broadcaster do you think would even entertain this?
Well, I'm waiting for the phone call tonight. I hope it comes. But I remember a time when people said nobody will go on CNN. Listen, if Al Jazeera is here, if it has the audience, and if it has deep pockets, and we haven't spoken about that, but remember, Al Jazeera is being funded by the Emir of Qatar, so all that natural gas that we're buying stands behind Al Jazeera.
A pleasure to have you both. Thank you, guys.